Something happened last month that barely made the headlines, and it is one of the most significant military developments in Asia in 20 years. North Korea registered its first guided missile destroyer with international maritime organizations. A vessel called the Xueqin, a nuclear missile platform, capable of sailing in international waters, built to deploy nuclear weapons from the sea. Most people read that sentence and think, so what? North Korea has always been a threat. This is just another weapon. But I'm going to tell you why that sentence, that one development, changes the entire strategic picture of the most dangerous peninsula on Earth. My name is Professor Jiang, and I have been watching North Korea's military development for 32 years. I have watched it evolve from a conventional military threat into a nuclear power, into something that is now, as of this year, developing the capability to project that nuclear threat beyond its own coastal waters. Kim Jong-un has declared denuclearization unconstitutional. He has ordered 2 guided missile destroyers per year through 2030. He has a target fleet of 12 ocean-going nuclear missile platforms. And I have 5 predictions for what he does with all of that. Stay with me. This video matters for every single person watching it. Because what Kim Jong-un does next will affect the security of the entire Pacific region. And the Pacific region is connected to every economy on Earth. Do not leave. Before I go deeper, I want to reveal my secret. People keep asking me, sir, how are you so active at 63? But a few years ago, I was in constant pain. Legs, body, no sleep, no focus. I had to stop my research and predictions. I tried everything. I spent thousands of dollars. Nothing worked. Then I started using advanced amino formula. Within just 2 weeks, I felt stronger, more active. My pain reduced. I felt younger again. It is made in the USA with natural ingredients. Do not worry. I have added the buy link in the description and pinned comment. It comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee, so there is zero risk. If you are struggling with leg pain, body pain, brain fog, or low energy, I recommend you try it for 2 weeks. Your pain will reduce, your energy will come back, and your mind will feel clear again. This is my guarantee. Now let us get back to what matters. Let me begin with something that I think most people watching North Korea news do not fully appreciate. The transition from a land-based nuclear power to a sea-based nuclear power is not just an addition of capability. It is a qualitative transformation in strategic posture. Here is why. Land-based nuclear weapons, missiles on fixed or mobile launchers on North Korean territory are vulnerable. In the event of a conflict, a potential adversary knows where North Korea's territory is. They know the general locations of missile facilities. They can plan preemptive strikes designed to destroy North Korean nuclear capability before it can be used. This is what is called the counterforce option, the ability of an adversary to potentially eliminate the nuclear threat by striking first. Sea-based nuclear weapons, missiles aboard submarines, or surface ships operating in international waters are a fundamentally different problem. You cannot hit what you cannot find. A nuclear missile submarine or destroyer operating in international waters could be anywhere in a vast ocean. Finding it, tracking it, and destroying it before it launches is enormously difficult. It requires a massive and sustained anti-submarine warfare capability that North Korea's adversaries are not currently configured to maintain across the full range of the Pacific. When North Korea fields a credible sea-based nuclear capability, it acquires something called a second strike guarantee. The assurance that even if its land-based capabilities are destroyed, it retains the ability to retaliate with nuclear weapons from the sea. This fundamentally changes the deterrence calculation on the Korean peninsula. Before, a potential adversary could theoretically neutralize North Korea's nuclear threat through a sufficiently rapid and comprehensive first strike. After, a potential adversary must assume that even a successful first strike will be met with nuclear retaliation from an unlocatable sea-based platform. This is exactly the logic that drove the major powers to invest so heavily in submarine-launched ballistic missiles during the Cold War. Nuclear submarines were the guarantee of assured retaliation, and assured retaliation is the foundation of deterrence. Kim Jong-un is building North Korea's version of that guarantee, and he is building it at a pace and scale that suggests this is his top military priority: 2 destroyers per year. A target of 12 ocean-going nuclear platforms by 2030. This is not a weapons program. It is a strategic transformation. Now let me talk about what this means in the current geopolitical context. North Korea's destroyer program is being developed in a specific environment. An environment where Russia has been providing military technology to North Korea in exchange for artillery ammunition. An environment where China has been reducing its opposition to North Korea's nuclear program. An environment where the United States is militarily committed and diplomatically focused on the Middle East. This is the most permissive external environment for North Korean military development since Kim Jong-un came to power. Russia needs North Korean artillery ammunition for Ukraine. It is willing to pay in technology and training. China wants North Korea as a buffer state and is not willing to apply pressure that could destabilize the Kim regime. The United States is stretched. Kim Jong-un is building his sea-based nuclear force in the best possible external conditions, and he is moving fast. Let me now walk through my 5 predictions. My first prediction is that within 2 years, North Korea will conduct a naval missile test from one of its Xueqin-class destroyers in international waters. This will be a deliberately provocative demonstration timed for maximum diplomatic impact, designed to establish in the world's awareness that North Korea's nuclear capability is now not just land-based but sea-based. The test will be designed to be impossible to intercept before launch, because the vessel will be in international waters where preemptive military action is not politically possible. My second prediction is that Kim Jong-un will use the sea-based capability to contest the Northern Limit Line, the de facto maritime boundary between North and South Korea in the Yellow Sea. He has explicitly described this boundary as illegitimate. With destroyer capability, North Korea can make that contestation more than rhetorical. A sustained North Korean naval presence near or across the Northern Limit Line would create a persistent crisis in the Yellow Sea that requires constant South Korean and US response, stretching Allied resources and creating continuous escalation risk. My third prediction is that North Korea will leverage its new sea-based capability for diplomatic advantage in any negotiations with the United States. Previous North Korean nuclear negotiations were always complicated by the asymmetry of North Korean vulnerability. North Korea's land-based assets were, at least theoretically, targetable. This gave the United States a leverage point. With a sea-based capability, that leverage is reduced. North Korea can negotiate from a position of genuine second strike deterrence for the first time. This changes what it needs from negotiations and what it is willing to offer. My fourth prediction is that Japan will accelerate its own military expansion in direct response to North Korea's sea-based nuclear development. Japan has already been expanding its military capacity. Its defense spending is increasing. It is acquiring long-range strike capabilities. It is deepening its military cooperation with the United States, South Korea, and Australia. North Korea's sea-based nuclear capability is one of the primary drivers of this expansion. And Japan's military expansion will in turn be used by China as justification for its own continued military development, creating a security spiral in the region. My fifth prediction is the most personal one, because it is about Kim Jong-un himself. Kim Jong-un is building these capabilities for a specific purpose, not aggression in the traditional sense of territorial conquest, but security, the survival of the Kim regime, the guarantee that North Korea will not become the next Iraq, not the next Libya, not the next Iran. Kim saw what happened to Saddam Hussein, who gave up his weapons programs and was overthrown. He saw what happened to Muammar Gaddafi, who gave up his nuclear program and was killed. He watched the United States and Israel strike Iran's nuclear program in 2025 and again in 2026. And his conclusion from all of this is the one that his entire military program expresses. The only guarantee of regime survival is an untouchable nuclear deterrent. He is building that deterrent, deliberately, systematically, at the maximum pace his resources allow. And the lesson he has drawn from watching the Iran war is precisely the opposite of the lesson that Western leaders hoped the Iran war would communicate. The West hoped the Iran strikes would demonstrate that nuclear programs have consequences, that the cost of pursuing nuclear weapons is destruction. What Kim Jong-un sees is that Iran was vulnerable because its nuclear weapons were not yet ready, that it got struck precisely because it had not yet crossed the nuclear threshold, that the lesson is not, do not pursue nuclear weapons, but rather pursue them faster and make them harder to destroy before you complete them. This is the perverse incentive that preemptive military action against nuclear programs creates. And it is an incentive that every serious arms control analyst has worried about for years. The Iran strikes may have set back the Iranian nuclear program, but they may have accelerated North Korea's because Kim Jong-un is determined to be untouchable before the window closes. I want to now connect this to the human dimension, because I always believe that geopolitical analysis must ultimately connect to real lives. The Korean Peninsula is home to tens of millions of people. Seoul, one of the great cities of the world, is within artillery range of the North Korean border. Over 50 million South Koreans live within the potential impact zone of a North Korean conflict. And beyond the peninsula, the economic connections of South Korea and Japan, two of the world's most significant economies, to every other economy on Earth, mean that a Korean crisis would transmit its consequences globally. The technology supply chain, the semiconductor supply chain, the precision manufacturing capacity, the financial systems, all of these would be affected by a Korean conflict. This is not a distant problem. This is a connected problem. And ordinary people around the world have a stake in what happens on this peninsula that most of them do not realize. North Korea's first destroyer is in the water. Kim Jong-un has declared denuclearization unconstitutional, and the most permissive external environment for North Korean military expansion in a generation is creating conditions for an acceleration of precisely the development that most threatens stability on the Korean peninsula. I have given you today my 5 predictions, based not on speculation but on the pattern of behavior, the strategic logic, and the specific capabilities being developed. Share this video with everyone who needs to understand that the North Korea story is not just about a small, isolated country in Asia. It is about the strategic future of the Pacific. And the Pacific is connected to everything. Leave a comment. Tell me which of my 5 predictions you think will happen first. And come back for the next video. Because the Korea story is developing fast. And I will be watching every development. I am Professor Jiang. Watch the sea. Watch Kim. And stay aware.